I have before me the foundation of modern cooking, and that is cream of chicken soup, cream of mushroom soup, and tomato soup. Almost every pantry will have these because they're the foundation to many of the foods that we eat today. Now, what's unique about these foods, because of my wife, these are gluten-free. Most soups, Progresso and Campbell's soup, contains wheat, and if you're gluten-free, you obviously can't have that, or you're going to have a pretty bad reaction to it. These soups right here are offered by Walmart. These are great value. And so they're gluten-free, each one. And we go through a lot of these, and these right now are approaching their expiration. In fact, these expired 6 days ago. Now, there's a publication from the FDA saying that if the can is in good condition, no dents, no bulging, that canned foods can last years beyond their expiration date. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and freeze dry a bunch of these condensed soups for my storage. So here we go. So I have everything all lined up, ready to go, and now we're going to have to do a little bit of math. Each of these cans has 10.5 ounces or 298 grams of soup inside. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to weigh the trays and then calculate the before and after weight to know how much water to put back into everything to reconstitute it. Piece of cake. So I have my tomato, my mushroom, and my chicken, cream of chicken. So these are all ready for the freeze dryer. I'm going to pre-freeze them before putting it in my machine. Saves time, saves energy. And then once these are done, we'll go ahead and weigh them. Each of these trays contains 1,192 grams or 42 ounces. So that's the weight before freeze drying, and then we'll weigh them after they get freeze dried and see what the difference is. These are the condensed soups that just came out of the freeze dryer. You can see there's a little bit of shrinkage on the cream of mushroom and the cream of chicken, but the tomato soup did not really shrink that much. So the next step we need to do is to weigh the product now and subtract it from what it was originally to calculate how much water would have to be added to reconstitute that. All of these condensed soups weighed the same amount before freeze drying. After freeze drying, the cream of mushroom soup lost 86% of moisture, tomato soup lost 82% of moisture, and the cream of chicken lost 84%. Basically, in order to bring this back to life, we would have to add 4.5 ounces of water to bring it back to the condensed state. And if we wanted to actually make the soup, then we'd have to add an additional 2 cans of water, which would be 21 ounces of water to make the actual soup. So in cooking, 4.5 ounces, and then we could use that as an ingredient like in a casserole. Now, if you're wondering why the cream of chicken here is crumbly and the cream of mushroom is crumbly, but the tomato is very hard, that's because the tomato has more sugars than the other ones here. And when you have foods with more sugars, they tend to be more stiff and sharp. And when I crumble this one up, this is one of the tomato soup would have to be careful with, because the sharp edge on the tomato soup could actually puncture your Mylar bag. Now, one of the things I'm going to do with the tomato soup, because it's subject to have these sharp corners and could puncture a bag, I'm going to double bag it. So I'm just going to take a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, and I'm going to go ahead and put the soup in the bag. And you can either leave the bag unzipped, or you could zip this closed. And I'm just going to get a knife point, and I'm just going to poke a bunch of holes in this bag. Because one of the things I do is I vacuum seal all my freeze-dried food. And so the holes here will allow all the air in here to escape, and the oxygen absorber will work just as well. And then this right here will go inside my Mylar bag. Like so. I can go ahead and seal this, vacuum pack it, and then place the tomato soup into storage. So I had some soups that were nearing the expiration date, and although I could probably keep them in the can for an additional 1 to 2 years, I thought it'd be best to go ahead and take these and freeze dry it into this state, and that way I can go ahead and bag it up and enjoy this over the next 20 years. So there you have it. I'd like to thank you for your time. Please subscribe, give me a like if you would want to, and I'll send you another video soon. And remember, go forth and freeze dry the world.